Hey guys, welcome to Coffee with Clients on the Friday before Thanksgiving. You guys showed up. We're so excited you are here with us today. We are going to wait for people to come in the room, but I'm just so excited to be here with you guys. I'm Chantel. We'll introduce that in a minute. And my co-host, Keisha. Keisha, come off and say hi while I'm just waiting on everybody to get in the room.
Hi, everybody. We're so glad you're here.
Yeah, we're so excited. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started because we have some interesting and exciting topics to talk about today. So let's go ahead and get this party started. So welcome to Coffee with Clients. I think this is like week 4. Whatever it is, we're excited and we're going into the holiday season. So how fun is that? I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Chantel Seneca, independent Optavia coach, joined with my co-host Keisha. She'll introduce herself in a minute. And guys, we're so excited to have you here on this Coffee with Clients. But I just wanted to remind you about this. This is such a great tool for us for support, but nothing takes the place of your coach. So for all of your tips, encouragements, questions, frustrations, victories, please refer back to your Optavia coach because they are going to be your greatest resource. We're just coming in with this weekly Zoom as just an extra layer of support, honestly, to go over together because we love community. It's part of one of our 4 pillars. We love community to teach you and walk together with some habits of health. And so also remember that if you've missed any of these, you can always catch it on the YouTube channel. So guys, let's go ahead and get started because we have a lot of ground to cover today. And I just want you to be ready and to take notes if you need to, or listen and absorb it all in. But today we are still in element 2 because element 2 really is such a good element, so power packed with the micro habits of health, right? And so I love that my topic was on the healthy habit of sleep. And I'm just going to start off with a testimony from me personally. And then I have one of my clients who's going to come on at the end of when I share about what sleep has done for her. But I'm just interested in the chat. Say me if you have definitely noticed better sleep patterns since you've been on plan. I'm just interested to see. And while you're doing, oh gosh, look at it blowing up. I just love that because I'm going to tell you. So just a little bit quick about my testimony about sleep. I remember when I started plan day 4, even the scale was moving down and I was excited, but I was still in that coming off of that detox and I didn't know. But on day 4, I woke up before my alarm and didn't snooze it. And I remember thinking, it was a Thursday morning. I so remember, it was 5 years ago. I still remember that. I didn't snooze it. I remember thinking, okay, this is weird. I was ready to get up. And I still had kids in school. So I was getting up early. I mean, early for me, 6 o'clock, that was early. I was getting up early and I just remember thinking, that is weird. And my coach told me like one of the side effects of fueling your body right is sleep. And I was just like, yeah. Because I always thought I didn't require a lot of sleep. Matter of fact, I would say that I don't require a lot of sleep. I can get 5, maybe 6. I'm good. I'm good. And if I woke up in the middle of the night for anything, I wasn't going back to sleep, or it would take forever. And it would take me forever to fall asleep. So I know for me, I was telling somebody the other day, because I always talk about this when I'm sharing our amazing plan with people. And I'll say this, for me, one of the reasons I never want to go back among many is, guys, I know what good sleep's like now. So, okay, so now fast forward 5 years later, I fall asleep probably within 5 to 10 minutes of getting in bed. And then I sleep. I mean, sometimes let's just be real. If you're doing hydration, you're maybe not sleeping all the way through the night, but I can go back to sleep really easy. And when I wake up in the morning, I wake up rested. That's the thing. I don't feel like I'm drowsy all day. So let's just talk about that. Okay. So if you're not experiencing that yet, I would suggest that you would get into your life book, but we're going to get into the life book today. Even if you are experiencing, you want to be able to continue to experience good sleep. So let's just talk about that just a little bit. So in my life book, I am on page 63. And if you can turn there, that would be great because we're kind of working through this element together. And so let's just talk about that. So it just talks about sleeping better on page 63. The effects of a regular sleep pattern on health is often underestimated. But sleep is one of our most critical factors in creating overall health and well-being. And how many have noticed, I've okay, I hate to say put a 1 in the chat, but I'm going to say put a 1 in the chat. How many have noticed when they don't get good sleep, the scale reflects it not in a good way? Anybody notice that? Yeah, like if I'm not getting good sleep at night, and if it's wait client support day, weigh-in day the next day, like I'm like, I know, because I think our body has this way of like wanting to, what's going on? You need the sleep, right? So yeah, look at the ones. Guys, that's so true. It's so true. The scale doesn't lie and will show if you're not sleeping and drinking your water too, but we're gonna move on from that. So how important is it to make a change in your sleep habits? Listen, Kristen said this last week and it was so good. I wrote it down. But when we're talking about the willingness ruler and the readiness ruler, she said this, and Kristen, it was so good. You said willingness is being happy to change something if it's needed. Okay, I'm happy to change if it's needed. For me, gosh, sleep was needed. I didn't know I needed to change it because I thought that's how it always was, right? Now I know, but I didn't know. Readiness is a state of being fully prepared. Some of us know we're not getting good sleep and we need good sleep, right? So on your little, in your life book, it's on the willingness ruler. So 0 to 10. So is changing your habits to get better sleep, how important is that to you? Not important at all. That's a 0. 5 is about as important as everything else. 10, most important thing in my life. So go ahead and put it in the chat if you want to. On a scale of 0 to 10, how important is it to get good sleep? Yeah, so the chat's coming in. Keisha, I just would like, while we're waiting on that to come in, what do you think about sleep? How do you feel about that?
I think sleep is super important for all aspects. I think sleep is a 10 for me. I think you need it to function correctly. When you don't get enough sleep, you end up being hungrier the next day. You drag,
Oh, good.
you push snooze.
So not only are you hungrier and you're dragging, but you're just, let's just be honest, moody and grouchy. Yeah. You know, like, I mean, we tell our kids that, right? You need more sleep, right? Somebody needs to tell me that, like, girl, you need to go back to bed. You need more sleep, right? Or how about this little, sometimes we say this, like, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I think the interpretation is I didn't get enough sleep, right? And so I'm not, so yeah, so we have to be willing, which is being happy to change something if needed. And then there's a confidence. How confident are you that you need to change your sleep habits now? So on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident are you that we need to go ahead and start changing that? I love that so many of you are already at a 10 with this, you know, but are we confident that that needs to change? Or are you like me and saying, oh, I just don't require a lot of sleep. I just require to snooze the button 12 times, right? Till finally my husband was like, are you getting up? Like, what are you doing? Right? And so, I mean, I was confident that something needed to change, but I didn't know it needed to change, right? You know, or as we get up under the bed, somebody put, I like that, Sarah. Okay, and then the readiness ruler. So readiness, remember, is a state of being fully prepared to change something. And we're going to talk about a few little things in a minute about that. But 0 to 10, is anybody fully prepared to change that? If I said to you, guys, I can help you with some things to help you sleep better, are you fully prepared to be able to start changing that? Right? And so that, there you go on that ruler right there. So with that being said, I'm going to jump over to the life book. And if you're in your life book at all, or if you're not, just write this down, but it starts on pages 398. And I'm just going to read straight from the life book, this paragraph. Sleep is your body's way of restoring organ function, stabilizing chemical imbalance, refreshing areas of the brain that control mood and behavior, and improving performance. So there we have it. You know why you wake up on the wrong side of the bed sometimes? Because you haven't got some good quality sleep, because that it actually will restore some of that. And then I'm just going to hop on over to the next page, page 401, and it says this in your life book. Get into your life book. Oh, Habits of Health book. I'm sorry, your Habits of Health book. Page 401. What can we say? What we can say is that scientists have observed over longer periods of time that a chronic lack of sleep, so for those of you who are not getting that sleep, it leads to weight gain. I mean, come on, guys, we don't want that. It can affect your memory and learning ability. We don't want that. It can compromise your immune system. It can elevate your blood pressure, increase inflammation, create symptoms of ADHD, contribute to mental and emotional health issues. Guys, what we're trying to do here is build this habits of health of sleep. Element 2, one of the macro habits in there is better sleep. And then one more thing I'm going to go over on page 402. Are you getting enough sleep? Here's a little test, okay? First things first, are you getting enough sleep? Answer the following questions to find out. So you can answer this in the chat if you want. You can answer this just to yourself. You can write them down, but here's just a few questions and things to think about, okay? Do you wake up tired in the morning? Has anybody ever waked up tired in the morning? Like before plan, I did. Before plan, I would wake up tired and just try to chase the day, right? Anybody have done that? Just try to chase the day. Okay, here's another question. Lack purpose when you get up first thing in the morning to start your day. Like you're just dragging to get your coffee. You know, I've changed my relationship with coffee now that my sleep is 100 times improved. I changed my relationship with coffee. Now I don't drink coffee in the morning to get up and get going. That actually happens. Now I drink coffee because I enjoy it. And especially when it's cold outside, it's hot and warm, right? And so I can literally get the same effect with hot chocolate or any of the other things, just because I don't now use coffee as the crutch of I have to have it to get on with my day. Now, it does make me happy in the morning, so that also improves my mood, but I wake up with purpose, right? Because I'm rested. The other thing is, do you need a nap in the afternoons? Guys, that's an indicator right there that we're not getting quality sleep at night. Do you fall asleep watching TV? Do you find yourself sleepy after lunch? These are all questions to ask yourself. Do I need to improve my sleep patterns? Do I have to drink several cups of coffee or any energy drinks to stay awake or make it through the day? I mean, is anybody, except you may still be there right now. That's why we're here today, to help you. But I know for me, I've overcome that, but I have been there. Anybody has been there or is there, like, and is willing to just say, yep, that's me, or that was me? Because guys, I can relate to most of these that I'm saying, right? Have difficulty falling asleep at night. I mean, I was that person that got in bed and it would take forever to fall asleep. I would count sheep, count tiles on my ceiling, count like just all the stuff. And sometimes I would just get back up. Let me just do something. I'm awake, right? And then I'm chasing the day the next day. I'm going to tell you, day 4 for me on plan, day 4, that was the first thing I noticed. And then the last one, having difficulty staying asleep. I remember years ago when my babies were little, I remember telling my husband, where was Optavia then in my life? But I remember telling my husband, could you get up with him in the middle of the night? Because if I get up, I can't go back to sleep. And then it's just terrible the next day. I just, because he could fall right back asleep. And I can remember saying that. And I honestly thought, guys, that's who I was. Like, I thought that couldn't change. I'm so thankful for a plan that can change. So if you're in a place right now where you really need to work on these sleeping habits, there's a couple of things in your life book that it talks about that you can do to make that better. I personally think the biggest thing you can do is get yourself on a feeding plan, right? Because that's what we did with our babies. We put them on a feeding schedule so they would sleep better through the night, right? We have this wonderful plan that puts you on a schedule so you'll actually sleep better through the night. But there's also, Dr. A goes into a whole bunch of things you can do. You can decrease the white noise, the blue picture from your phone and the TV. Sometimes you just need to read I would forever, I would try to do that. Sometimes I'd read a whole book at night, so I couldn't go to sleep, but try to read to be able to fall asleep. By the way, I can't read at night now because I get in 2 lines and I'm out. I love it. Somebody should have told me that this was so that you could sleep this well. Like, somebody should have shared that with me. Right now, I want to bring on one of my clients, Monica. And Monica she didn't even know I was doing this. She didn't even know I was talking about this. And she made a post about how well she was sleeping. And so I asked her to come to share that. So Monica, will you come off and share the healthy habit of sleep in your life?
Hello, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon for some of you. Thank you, Chantal, for inviting me to share about my non-scale victory. And yes, I just made a post about sleep just yesterday, as a matter of fact. A lot of us join program to lose the pounds, right? For the most part, same thing. That's what I wanted. I wanted to lose the pounds. I was coming off of 3 years being postpartum and still trying to lose the baby weight. Get this, I'm a personal trainer and a fitness instructor, and I still couldn't lose the weight. And yes, my coach told me when I started program, you're going to see an improvement in sleep. but I disregarded it, right? Because we think, oh, I'm just here to lose the weight. This is my goal, is to lose these pounds. And let me tell you, going back to my years of teaching, multiple classes a day, tired, ending up my day tired, I still could not sleep. I seriously suffered from insomnia and a lot of the things that you mentioned, Chantal, having trouble going to sleep in the first place, and then getting woken up, going to the bathroom, or just getting woken up because I was restless. I could not fall asleep. So I was used to running on 3, 4, 5 max hours a day and just resorting to coffee, to energy drinks and all that. But for years, this was for years, and tired. And you would think, hey, I'm exercising, I should be sleeping good. And I remember having these conversations with my coworkers at the gym, and they were saying, oh, I'm so glad I just taught this class. I'm going to sleep so good tonight. And I was so jealous of that because that didn't happen to me. But again, going back to starting program, that didn't hit me until a week into, just like you, I think day 5 or day 6, I woke up and I was like, wait a minute, I slept the entire night. I really slept, and I was excited about it. And I think I was more excited about my sleep than the pounds I was losing on the scale, because I was seeing those pounds dropping. And I told my husband, I was like, I slept the whole night. And I was so excited because to me, that was very important. And all you mamas know, when you have a baby, those sleepless nights are there regardless. And yes, my baby continued to wake me up every night, and she still does. She's 4 and she still wakes me up every night, but I'm able to fall back asleep. And so to me, that's been the most important thing. And whenever I don't get that sleep, I definitely feel the difference. I am cranky the next day. I am hungrier. So it does affect my next day. So to me, sleep is very important. So as I got into the Life book, I've been able to work on it more, following Dr. Anderson's tips on how to get optimal sleep now. So I've gone in and put dark shades in my room. I have a night routine where an hour before I start drinking a chamomile tea. The blue screen on my phone. I mean, I've established these little healthy habits to optimize my sleep. And I can tell you that I get now 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And one of the things that he talks about in the book is your clock. So I actually count backwards and say, okay, tomorrow I need to get up at this time, so my alarm goes at this time. So I'm counting backwards 7, 8 hours. So I've been able to do that now, and to me, that's been amazing. I've been able to maintain my weight for 18 months now. So, but sleep to me is important. But yes, thank you so much. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys have any questions.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. When I saw your post yesterday, I was like, oh, she has got to come off and share about that.
Yes.
What I love is that you don't know what you don't know until you know it, right? Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know that how important I would feel with better sleep until now I do. So thank you, Monica, for sharing that. And guys, this is how I'm going to end this macro habit with this. So in your Life book, we're going to go back to page 64 if you're following your Life book, and it says write 3 things that you can start doing to help you sleep better right now. But before we do that, I'm gonna turn you to your Habits of Health book, page 407, or write that down if you don't have that, because Dr. Anderson actually starts the path to a healthier sleep. And I'm going to give you a few things that he talks about doing that would help us get better sleep. Okay. So first of all, Monica talked about your sleep clock, but he talks about find your chronotype. And Monica, I actually do the same thing now. If I have to wake up at a certain time, like if I have to be up for something, let's say at 6 o'clock for something, I'm counting backwards 8 hours. And that's what time I want to get in bed, because I want to fall asleep to get 7 to 8 hours. And so now I actually do it where I want to make sure. And I don't just try to say how late I can stay up and then how much I will actually count backwards. That's how important sleep is to me. He also talks about this, setting a bedtime routine, set a bedtime, then set a routine. Also during the day, get out of bed, limit caffeine, eat responsibly, right? He talks about decreasing stimulation, eliminating cell phone use, But they're minimizing liquid intake, after a certain time, avoid exercise within 4 hours of going to bed. There's all kind of things. Avoid alcohol within 3 hours of bedtime. Resolve family issues. I mean, now he's just really getting up in our business, but it's so true because that kind of stuff affects us, right? When we have something on our mind, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Sometimes we just need to offer forgiveness so we can sleep better, but maybe that was just for me. I'm going to take it and go with it. But let's go back and we're going to finish up here with sleep. Let's go back to page 64. So write down 3 things that you can start doing to help you sleep better right now. And I'm going to give you a few minutes. And if some of you want to share in the chat, that's fine. Write down one thing in the chat that you can start doing right now to help you sleep better. But go ahead and put it in your book. I'm going to give you a few minutes. Yeah, this is page 64 in your life book that we're writing this in. Yeah, somebody said no phone in bed. Such a good thing. I love that. Stop the caffeinated drinks earlier in the day. Avoid family drama. Avoid the drama triangle. Gosh, that's Dr. 8 addresses that altogether. Like avoid that because that mentally will affect us and cause us to not sleep. Declutter your room. There you go. No TV. Okay. Then the last thing, write down 3 things that you can stop doing to help you sleep better. So 3 things to start doing, 3 things to stop doing. And it kind of may be a little bit of the same thing. For me, so one of the things I had to start doing was I had to literally start counting backwards to make sure that I was getting in bed when I needed to get to sleep, to wake up when I needed to. Okay. So that was one of the things I really had to start doing. And one of the things I really had to stop doing was trying to fill my mind with stuff to try to go to sleep. That was a bad habit. Like, let me read, let me play on my phone, all the stuff. Right. And I just had to really just start saying, you know what, I'm going to put everything aside. Actually, for me, it was just a good time to do a little bit of prayer time at night before to sleep, just to kind of clear my mind. So guys, I'm going to end this right here. The healthy habit of sleep is really a natural byproduct of what we do with our plan. But honestly, there are things that we can do to enhance that even more. So if you're not experiencing the healthy habit of sleep, reach up to your coach, ask your coach for ideas. That's part of what we do. So reach up to your coach and say, hey, could you help me? Could you keep me accountable? Could you ask me what time I'm going to bed? I mean, I know we all adults here, but sometimes we need a bedtime. Ask your coach to help you set a bedtime, right? We can help with that. And we would love to help with that. So with that being said, Keisha, will you talk to us about the next micro habit of motion?
Yes, I'm so excited to talk about motion, you guys. Get your body moving. There's lots of different ways to get your body in motion. So remember, this is your journey. This is what you want, not what your neighbor's doing, not what your best friend does. Know your body and know your limits. Also refer to your coach and they can help you start a program that's right for you for the motion part. Things on motion I'll be talking about, you can find in your life book, and that will be on page 61. And in the Habits of Health, the pages will be starting on 371. If you're not currently exercising and you're starting our 5-in-1 plan, we advise you to wait 2 to 3 weeks to begin. The reason why is because we want your bodies to adapt to the change. If you already are exercising, just adjust your intensity for a little bit for that first couple of weeks. And actually, did you know that every pound of weight you lose takes 4 pounds of pressure off your knees and 6 pounds off your hips? That's absolutely amazing. Now think about how much easier it'll be to get some movement in your life when you're removing some of those extra carried pounds that we have. So if you lost 50 pounds, that's actually 200 pounds of pressure off those knees. I mean, that is just incredible. So the first form of movement I want to talk about is, we call it NEAT. And that represents all the ways outside of exercise that we do during our waking hours. And NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And thermogenesis is just a fancy word for your body's ability to burn calories. So here are some NEAT activities. We like to call them the 6 S's of success. So first, your stance. That means posture. So roll your shoulders back, sit back, stand up tall, pull your stomach in. The next one is standing. If you can, get a standing desk or stand up often. Strolling. This simply means walking. Stairs. Take the stairs when you can. Samba. This means dance. Turn on some music and dance. Switch. This just means everyday chores around your house. So where can you do these? Where can you do these little neat activities? Well, at work, get up and walk around. Go to the copy station. Instead of rolling your chair there, get up and walk over there. When you go to the store, park at the farthest parking lot or parking spot away and walk in. When you're at home, walk to the mailbox instead of driving up to it. Take your dog for a walk instead of just letting them outside. So take intentional steps. Take intentional steps to go do laundry. Put them away in the room instead of just piling them up. Here's a really good idea. Every time you eat a fueling, walk around for 3 minutes. You'd be surprised when you do these little things, they all add up. And you can burn an extra 200 calories just by doing these extra little things. And actually, in your Habits of Health, on page 385, Dr. A actually has a walking program in there. It's a great way to start implementing steady exercise to your life through walking. So when you're ready, you can move from NEAT to EAT. And EAT is exercise activity thermogenesis. And EAT is just our structural word. We just say it, and it's for exercise done on purpose. It's like resistance bands, running, HIIT, and HIIT means high intensity interval training, spinning, any kind of activity that gets your heart rate going. But did you guys know that on a stationary bike for high intensity for 45 minutes, you can burn up to 420 calories? That's huge. And weight training. Weight training is our friend. Weight training is the calorie gift that keeps on giving. For every pound of muscle, you increase your daily calorie burn by 50 to 70 calories. Isn't that awesome? So healthy habits are what we're all about. So the more you move, the better you're going to sleep, and the better you sleep, the more you're going to move, and it marries into each other. So I want to introduce one of my friends. Her name is Tracy, and I'm going to have her come off mute and share her success story.
Hi. So this is a little out of my element, so hopefully I do okay. So I have always been into working out for probably the last 10 years until COVID hit and my gym shut down. And then basically I got lazy, gained a bunch of weight. And then in March of 21, I saw people's post on the program, and I checked into it because I just couldn't handle it anymore. And by November of that year, so in 7 months, I was down 70 pounds. Now I run almost every day. I have a treadmill, and I ran my first 10K in May in record pace, under 10 minutes a mile. So that was pretty good. 45 years old and record pace at 10K. And yeah, so I run. I get up 8 days a week. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get my run on the treadmill in. And sometimes I even do a second workout at night and just keep moving every day. I think that's pretty much it.
70 pounds is amazing, Tracy. Good job. And tell us who your coach is.
Christine Miller.
Yep. Oh, go ahead, Chantal. So yeah, so you can see how movement is just going to make you feel better when you get that weight off your joints, how much more energy you're going to have. And maybe, who knows, maybe you'll be running 5Ks and Spartans and all those things like Tracy. And I'll turn it over to you, Chantal.
So good. So good. I'll tell my clients when they come on and they start, like, we're not looking for you to start running a Spartan or a 10K right at the beginning, but could you just get some steps in, get you a little watch that will just and how many steps do you normally get in? Can we increase that by 1,000 and then 1,000, and so like my goal is 10,000 steps a day. And so however you do that, but getting moving is just so important for sure. And at this point, Keisha, can we go back to the life book and see if they want to do their willingness and readiness meter? Let's do that real quick.
Yeah. So we've been talking a lot about the readiness and willingness. How important is it for you guys to make a change in your activity level. You can put it in the chat or you can write it in your life book. 0 would mean not important at all to you. 5 or 10 meaning the most important to you. So where are you guys on that scale? Does anybody want to throw it? Oh, yep, there's some coming in the chat. Good. So we got lots of 8s and 10s. Good. Movement is so important. And you don't have to be extreme. You don't have to kill it on a treadmill. You can, start with those neat exercises, just the ones that you're not already doing. Like instead of the elevator, take those stairs. Instead of parking right next to the handicap, park at the farther end so you can walk by and be thankful that your body can move and you don't have to use those spots. That's a great privilege that we all have with our bodies, that we don't have to use those stickers. So enjoy it. Be privileged. You don't have to work out and we don't have to move. We get to move. So I love seeing all the 8s, 9s, 10s. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think Joy just made a good point too. If you're on plan and you wanting to start exercise, guys, run that by your coach first. Talk to your coach and let him or her know what your plans are, what you want, so we can incorporate that in correctly. But it's so important. Here's the thing that honestly, this is so not off the subject, but kind of not where we were going. But I remember, so my mother-in-law is 85. And by the way, she did plan and lost 60 pounds, but she, as she got older, she kept complaining about her hips hurting, to where so much so that I thought maybe she might've fractured a hip, right? Like she's just complaining about it all the time. So I took her to the doctor. We got some x-rays done. And basically he said it's arthritis that set in from lack of movement. And I was like, I took some notes. I was like, okay, because let's be honest, as we get older, Keisha, we tend to not want to move as much. Even with the good sleep and the good energy, and sometimes we just tend to not want to move. You may have a job that you're stationary in. We want to get we want to get that heart rate up a couple times a week. It's healthy. We also want to get moving so those joints stay loose. And so you're not having arthritis setting in because of lack of movement. So that's something we can change now, right? So yes, moving is so important.
Thank you guys for joining us. We can't wait to see you guys next Friday.